From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Good evening, Nashville. Welcome to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. Jon Burton with you, the Wednesday extravaganza. Great to have you with us on this warm and breezy Wednesday night in the Music City. 615-737-7767 is the number to call. Would love to hear from you tonight because, well, we've got a great show lineup for you. Coming up at 8:15, the Associated Press Tennessee sports writer, the award-winning Hall of Famer Teresa Walker will call into the show. We'll talk all things area sports and get her views on everything going on. Things a little quiet right now on the Titans front, obviously, with off-season workouts continuing. The Predators, their off-season, a little more than a week in now. David Poile and John Hines are both scheduled to speak to the media tomorrow. We'll let you know what they had to say throughout the day tomorrow on News Channel 5. But it's interesting they've waited this long to address the media and have their year-ender, as we like to call it in the business, their year-end press conference. And sounds to me like they've needed the extra time to kind of collect their thoughts. Of course, the players have moved on after losing that playoff series to the Carolina Hurricanes, 4-0. They spoke immediately after the game, the day after the game, cleaning out their lockers. And now it'll be time for David Poile and John Hines to speak and give their thoughts on the season that just ended. And, of course, the future of the Nashville Predators franchise, both short and long term. And that's what brought me to my opening statements here tonight. And please feel free to call on 737-7767. Of course, the area code is 615. Been doing a lot of thinking about this lately, and I'm curious to know what your thoughts may be on it as well. And we'll ask Teresa Walker from the Associated Press when she joins us at 8:15. You look at the landscape of the two major professional sports teams here in Nashville, the Tennessee Titans and the Nashville Predators. Both have had recent success in making deep playoff runs. Of course, the 2017 Stanley Cup final run for the Nashville Predators, and a couple of years after that, in 2019, Tennessee Titans made it all the way to the AFC Championship game. But since those runs, it kind of feels like things have gotten progressively worse for each of those franchises. You know, neither was able to follow up on that incredible success that got them as far as they did in 2017 and 2019, respectively. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and it really feels like these two teams are kind of at the crossroads. Let's start with the Tennessee Titans. We all know what happened. They lost to the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC Divisional Playoff game at Nissan Stadium on a last-second field goal. This after winning 12 games. By the way, going 8 weeks, 2 months without Derrick Henry, who was injured, but still and several injuries to key players in the lineup, but still managed to win 12 games, secure the #1 seed and home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. And a lot of people thought that, hey, this might have been their year. With everything they went through and everything they overcame, to still get to 12 wins and still get to the 1 seed in the AFC, just might be their year to at least get back to another Super Bowl. And ironically, they probably would have played the Rams again had they gone back. Of course, Super Bowl 34, they lost to the Rams, Kevin Dyson, the 1-yard line, the whole deal. But you look at how this offseason has come about for the Titans since losing that game. It's been kind of a noisy offseason, hasn't it? Usually the Titans aren't the team that has noisy off seasons where they're making a lot of headlines and not for all terrific reasons. That's usually reserved for teams like, I don't know, the Cowboys. The Cleveland Browns seem to always have a lot of drama. The team I grew up rooting for, the New York Giants, lately has had a lot of, drama off the field. And none of it's major, none of it's, earth-shattering, but it's just enough to make some fans kind of raise their eyebrows and say, okay, what is the future of this organization? You had, in no particular order, well, let's start with John Robinson at the NFL Combine. I was there for that, when he got very emotional, when he was asked a simple question, how disappointing was the playoff loss and what does he need to do better as general manager this year and going forward? And a lot of you saw the video. He took a long time to answer the question. His eyes welled up with tears. His face got red. His bottom lip was quivering. A lot of people think he was play acting. I don't believe so. You know, Jon Robinson's not a trained actor. To me, that told me, I think he feels what a lot of Titans fans feel. You blew it. This was your opportunity. Your window for winning a championship has now closed significantly. You weren't able to take advantage. It was all there for you. You win 2 home games, you're going to the Super Bowl, and you didn't get it done. Then you have Ryan Tannehill, the starting quarterback, the leader of this football team, who obviously did not have a very good game against the Cincinnati Bengals in that playoff loss. 3 interceptions. Of course, the last one setting up the last-second field goal. If you're a Titans fan, you know chapter and verse what happened. Him not being there for the start of off-season workouts. Some sloughed it off as no big deal. It's early in the off-season. Some people, myself included, thought it's not a really good look for your quarterback and your leader, especially someone who's trying to redeem himself, especially someone who later admitted that he had to go to therapy to get over not only his performance, but the fact that his team lost in that playoff game. Then you had Tannehill's comments about, well, before that, let's backtrack. Then you have the trading of A.J. Brown. You know, the rumors started, and I thought, personally, there was no way that A.J. Brown was going to get traded. Things obviously grew more and more acrimonious. A.J. Brown said and tweeted some dumb things, and the next thing you know, he's out the door. He's on his way to Philadelphia. A shock for Titans fans, no question about it. Something that I don't think anybody in this fan base saw coming. You know, A.J. Brown, probably the greatest wide receiver in this franchise's history. If you think about even their days when they were the Houston Oilers, a guy that's just now coming into his own as one of the better receivers in the National Football League. Couldn't come to terms on a deal. I've heard from both sides what was offered, what wasn't offered. Bottom line is they couldn't, you know, they had to split up. So then, right after Jon Robinson trades A.J. Brown, he drafts, like within minutes, he drafts Treylon Burks. They move up to the 18th pick in the overall in the NFL draft, and they select Treylon Burks. Kiddo, I think, has a bright future in the NFL. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he's fast enough. He attacks the ball in the air. And his comp, his NFL comp coming into the NFL Combine in the NFL draft was, yes, A.J. Brown. So he comes in. I sat down and did a nice interview with him. Seems like a fine young man. And the hope is he'll have a great career here with the Titans and helps them win numerous championships. But his first practice, he shows up out of shape. He can't finish a practice. What does that say to your fan base? You're telling your fan base, folks, don't worry. I know we traded A.J. Brown, but we've got Treylon Burks. Here he is. Here's the guy that's going to step right in. And he can't finish his first practice. Now, to his credit, he came back the next day, fared a lot better, and that's a good sign. But it's not a good look. And you have the Tannehill comments about it's not my job to mentor Malik Willis. Well, first of all, he's right. It's not his job to mentor Malik Willis, the quarterback who they drafted in the 3rd round. But I don't know if you say that publicly. Do you say that publicly? Do you maybe word that a little bit better? If Ryan Tannehill had a chance to do that over again, maybe would he either not say that or maybe choose his words a little bit more carefully? I would think. I mean, this made national news. This was a major headline on all the talking head, shows on the four-letter networks for a couple of weeks. Now, listen, Ryan has since come back and he's tried to explain himself. He had a very open and honest press conference a couple of weeks ago. Malik Willis came in this weekend for rookie minicamp, said all the right things, said there's no issues between me and Ryan Tannehill. He had all the Titans offensive rookies come and to his house and hang out. Everything's cool. But again, not a good look for your quarterback, for your leader. And I like and respect Ryan Tannehill a great deal. I think he's done a tremendous job since coming here and becoming the starter. And he's been nothing but an exemplary professional athlete. And by all accounts, he's well liked by his teammates and his coaches, and he's a good leader. But it's just these little things that crop up in the offseason. And now everything is so magnified with social media, 24-hour sports news networks. everything you do is going to be scrutinized. Everything you do is going to be analyzed, and I'll admit it, probably overanalyzed. But for a team like the Titans to have all these little things pop up during the offseason, I don't know if that's a good sign heading into a regular season where you have a quarterback that, by his own admission, had to go to therapy after his last game. Your top two receivers are a rookie who showed up to his first practice not in the best shape, and a free agent guy you signed in Robert Woods, who I think is going to be good and a productive player for this team, but he's coming off major knee surgery, and as far as we know, there's no timetable for when he's going to be back. We don't even know if he's going to be ready for the start of training camp. Derrick Henry's a year older, coming off his first major injury of his career. He's getting up there in age a little bit for a running back. I would kill to be in my late 20s again, but, you know, late 20s for a running back, you know, years have shown that the production usually drops off. And now you're hearing some rumblings. Heard someone speak today about maybe he wants a new contract already, and he may or may not be at off-season workouts, and this could escalate to be a thing. We don't know if the A.J. Brown situation is having a domino effect on what some of the other players on this team are thinking or wanting, right? So you look at their schedule, you look at where they are. Do I think they're going to win 12 games again next year? No. Do I think they're going to be the number one seed in the AFC? No. Can they win their division, the AFC South? Yes, but I think the Colts are better. I think the coaching change that was made in Jacksonville will make the Jaguars a lot more competitive. And the Texans always seem to give the Titans trouble, no matter what. So for those Titans fans that are thinking, well, we'll just run it back this year, I mean, good luck. For your sake, I hope things work out. But I have some serious questions about the direction of this team, short and long term, based on some of the things that have popped up this offseason. What are your thoughts on that? 615-737-7767. I'll give you my thoughts on the Nashville Predators a little bit later in the show. But up next, as we take our first break, we're going to talk to one of the very best in the business, Teresa Walker, Associated Press Hall of Fame sports writer for the state of Tennessee, will join us by phone. Stay with us here on SportsLine.